Hey, Sooner football fans. This is your Sooner football fans podcast. You got Terry, Rob, and Caleb here. Boomer Rob.
Boomer Terry.
Boomer Caleb.
Boomer.
And we're coming at you from the Podcast Palace in the beautiful Norman, Oklahoma. There's only one place like it, and we're talking about the Podcast Palace, not Norman, Oklahoma. But
not to be confused with the Palace on the Prairie.
Exactly.
Or better known as the Heisman House.
The new Heisman House.
That's what we call this Heisman room now.
Yeah. Like I put out on Twitter also today that, we're going to need our own zip code now for Heisman Park.
Well, actually, the university does have its own zip code.
I know, but they need one for Heisman Park.
Oh, okay.
God, come on, Rob.
Their own street.
And, it should be 77777. Yeah. See, new
Until
zip
we
code.
get 8 and then 888.
Yeah, then when it just change it when it's,
Oh.
next year when
Address to it.
when Austin Kendall wins
No,
the
he's not
Heisman.
He's not going to win Heisman. He's not going to play next year, I bet.
Spencer Rattler.
So, surprises? Caleb, were you surprised?
No, not really. Nothing really surprising about it. I was at Twin Peaks watching it, so I couldn't really hear what
you were watching it.
I was watching it. I was watching that in boxing. I went there for the fights. And I couldn't really hear it. I was kind of mad because they had the prelims on. I was like, turn this off and put the Heisman thing on. They announced that he won. The whole place erupted. Well, I started it because I was the one watching it. And then everyone else knows he won. The girls behind us were like crazy drunk. And they're like on the table screaming, yelling, let's get shots, do drinks. They're going crazy back there. It was like, dang.
They were dancing on the table?
Yeah, they're dancing on the table, running around. It was like yelling Boomer everywhere.
Did you get digits?
No, I was like, these girls are too crazy. They're like on the level of drunk right now. So they're going crazy.
White girl wasted.
White girl wasted.
It was like a whole, like one of those big tables there. There's like one big whole of those. So I was like, man, this is pretty crazy. But yeah, he went there. I wasn't surprised. And then the votes came out. I saw it was pretty close. Right, he won by 200 and something.
Yeah.
So I figured it'd be pretty close. So
Rob?
SEC hates us.
He won every region except for
the South.
The South.
He barely lost that one.
And he barely lost that one. So
Well, what I liked about it was, as opposed to the last couple of years, I guess there's been enough people, even in the media, mouthing off about people voting before the championship games. That only something like 13% of the votes came in before, and Tua was ahead. And then I guess another group came in during that Saturday. Tua was still ahead, and then after the rest of the votes came in, and I mean, nothing against Tua. I mean, seriously, they said it last night. Any three of those guys in another year,
sure,
win the Heisman walking
easily.
away.
Yeah,
even
Tua, any of them.
Even if Tua won last night, I been mad, but I couldn't be like, well, he didn't deserve it. Like he deserved to win.
Yeah.
Just if he won it last night, I couldn't really be too mad. I just thought Kyler should have won, which he did, but. In the SEC is all angry now. That Taylor Hicks guy tweeting.
Yeah, Taylor Hicks.
Taylor Hicks. Name's
So
been relevant in a long time. You're worried about Bama now being all angry.
Yeah.
But they've been tweeting about it, so that's why I was nervous about beforehand.
Yeah, first off, let's talk about Taylor Hicks. Shut up, Taylor Hicks. You remember him, Rob?
Yeah, barely. Listen, yeah, you've got no opinion here.
Yeah, it was 12 years ago, 15 years ago, you were on American Idol, and you had gray hair then.
Is he a Bama fan?
No, he's an SEC fan. He's
Oh,
an SEC loser. One of those guys that we win the championship because they won. So
Yeah.
he's one of those people.
So, and then he later on, he tweeted that he had to shut down to get to bed because he had a early morning appearance at a Holiday Inn.
Oh boy!
I don't know if he was joking. He might have been he might have
Walk
but
of shame
he
or
probably
what?
knew. He probably knew he was getting roasted. So might as well just jump in on a joke, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was dumb. But you saw that coming. They're Ohio State fans were texting, were tweeting all day about we play no defenses. SEC fans were too. So I mean,
Well, they were relentless in Blinken Riley.
Blinken was
the guy
just-
wouldn't stop. I kept telling me he replied to him. The guy just kept saying, "Well, talk about the best teams you played. You didn't play no one good." That's all I kept saying over and over again. It's
like there was a sliver of difference between the defensive numbers
Right.
between them and us.
he said, don't talk about averages. Talk about the number, the team. The team. They kept saying,
Which-
bro, it's just
Spin
you gotta
it however you want to.
You gotta learn how. You gotta learn to
Stupid.
quit. Even his own fans would tell him to quit doing this. You're getting embarrassed.
Well, but really, let's face it. What won Kyler the Heisman were two things. Was Tua stunk it up against Georgia.
Yep.
That's the first one won it right there.
But his rushing numbers, I mean, he's done something that nobody has ever done in college football ever before. And I don't care if you're playing in the Big 12, the SEC, or the Pac little bit. You know what I mean?
Yep.
It's when you can do something like that nobody else has ever done in how many years of college football? 150 years?
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Well, and I think another big part of it was people were just going, oh, yeah, well, Alabama plays all these great defenses. And, and then people were like,
Yeah.
Citadel, Southern Louisiana girls.
Louisiana, Arkansas State, Arkansas.
It's like and they were like, well, maybe they're not playing all that great a defense, at least not until they got to Georgia.
Yeah.
And then what happened?
Yeah. I mean, they had a fight.
Like I said, Bama and Ohio State play against like 2 or 3 good defenses all year. The rest of the year, they play against nobodies.
Right.
Well,
So,
I don't know who it was on ESPN was talking about, the reason why the defenses are bad in the Big 12 is because of quarterbacks like Kyler Murray,
Well, Kyler said that too.
Will Greer,
Baker Mayfield,
Corn Dog,
Pat Mahomes.
Pat Mahomes.
Yeah, like the best quarterback ever. So, I mean,
Yeah, people just need to shut up about that because I'm telling you, the Big 12, if Alabama played here, yes, they would still be a top dog.
Yeah.
Yes.
they'll be like us, pretty much.
But they wouldn't – I don't think they'd go undefeated every year like they are in the SEC.
Yeah. And they would have just as tough a time. We did it on the last podcast. If we played their schedule, we'd have the same results. Could have the same results. The Georgia game would have been a tough fight, just like it was last year in the Rose Bowl. And if Alabama played our schedule, it'd be the same results. It would, the real difference, honestly, in Alabama and Oklahoma, and is whether we want to like it or not, is our defense. Our defense is bad.
Mm-hmm.
I think players, too. They got more players.
Yeah.
I would love to have seen an Alabama-West Virginia matchup
Yeah.
because I think West Virginia matches up really well with a team like Alabama.
Yeah.
So,
But, again, with our defense, though, the last couple of weeks, they've stepped up and did just enough to give our offense that edge.
Mm-hmm.
The edge, not that we needed it, but that edge to push ahead and get past, the Texas game. We needed to get that distance, and they stepped up and they get the safety. So,
yep.
But
go
go ahead. No, go.
I was going to say, did you feel like the whole time that Kyler was going to win?
I pretty much, when the Vegas odds came out, like a couple days before, he was like a 30-1, 4-1 to win. Like I like it's done then, because I don't remember last time Vegas got that wrong, like the Heisman wrong. So I mean,
so did they say Kyler was going to win?
yeah, he was
Yeah,
like,
okay.
he's
He
like
just
4-1.
kept growing.
They
He
kept getting bigger and bigger throughout the week. Like Monday, Tua was ahead until 10. Then Kyler went ahead, and then since then he kept getting bigger, bigger favorite. So, so one guy won $40,000 off that. He bet $1,000 before the year.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
But I thought he would win. You and I talked about it, Rob. I mean, it just, because so many people waited till the championship games to vote, and Tua just, it's not that he's a bad quarterback. He had a bad game.
It's not like that.
And Kyler didn't have a bad game all year. His bad game
arguably Army, but
Yeah,
it
but-
really wasn't bad.
He's got 4 touchdowns still.
So I had 4 touchdowns. Yeah.
It's like what I think what hurt Tua most is because been my argument all year long is that without Kyler, we're probably not in the playoffs. We're probably not in the playoffs. Without Tua, they're still undefeated probably. Like the Kyler thing, I think without him, I think we have probably one more loss on our schedule at least. And then if Tua gets hurt, they can still win every game on their schedule with Jalen Hurts,
which was proven.
which was proven right with the. And as I've been saying for the last month, like without Kyler, we'll probably at least one loss. We'll have one more loss. But Tua's great, but they don't need him to win.
I just felt like voters might be like, "Hey, he's already a professional baseball player."
Yeah.
We gave the award to Oklahoma last year. Let's not do that again.
Yeah.
And I really thought that was going to hurt him.
I think it was until the last week, until Tua played so bad that game. It was like that until then.
Well,
Because the stats still show Kyler should have won.
But I think that also played in his favor. May have played in his favor. He's a pro baseball player. Tua's got 2 more years.
Yeah.
He's got 2 more years to win it. We'll probably win it next year, unless he'll be facing up against Austin Kendall for it.
Austin Kendall.
Yeah.
That guy's
What, Caleb? Don't be hating on our quarterback for next year.
Give me Jalen Hurts over Austin Kendall. Give me anyone besides that guy. Give me that guy from Arizona. Give me Jalen Hurts. Give me Mordecai. Give me Rattler. But anyone besides Austin Kendall, I don't like that guy.
Why? What has he done
I don't
to
think
you?
he's that good.
What has he done to you? Well, it sounds personal.
He's not that smart. He went out and like before Ohio State, we had a basic defense, and we go out and torch us. So yeah, he's not a smart guy.
Now, Coach Riley said before the year started that
It was neck and neck.
neck and neck.
Don't believe that one bit. I think Kyle Murray proved that. That was coach talk to try to keep him from transferring. I think
Well, no, I mean,
Kyler's a small guy; he can get hurt. So that's coach talk saying, "It's
well,
one of them transfer."
maybe Austin was better throwing the ball.
I don't believe that. You've been watching him play all. You've been watching Kyler play all year.
But no, I'm just saying that Kyler had the better legs, and
I think what was opposite? Maybe Austin was more crafty with his legs. I think it's a little. Why you say he's a better thrower? Why you say that?
I said maybe. I didn't say that.
Mm-hmm. Sounds a little profile to me right there.
I don't even know where we're going.
I'm just saying that why can't we be excited that next year we may have?
It's not him. It's not going to be him. Be excited about Mordecai instead. Be excited about getting Jalen Hurts over here, who's only lost one game in his career. What about that? He's transferring too. So
You think so?
hey, he didn't transfer this year. He had to sit out, but he's graduated. So,
Yeah, he's graduated.
So he's in grad transfer.
Hey, I'd take him.
Yeah.
That kid can play some ball.
Yeah. But him and Lincoln.
Come on over here. We'll give you another. We'll give you a Heisman.
That'd be a recruit right there.
Would that not be hilarious?
Oh
He come
my.
here,
That would be.
Jalen Hurts comes to Oklahoma, wins the Heisman, beats Alabama in the national championship game.
That'd be awesome.
That would
That
be
would
hilarious.
That'd be more storybook thing than his
That's a
SEC
movie.
game. Yeah.
That's a movie.
Like he wins SEC game for him. I think it's hurts. They transfers because they still want this Tua kid out there. Let's go Oklahoma and then win a Heisman there. It's possible. I'd rather take Jalen Hurts over Austin Kendall too. I mean,
Well, we'll see. It'll be a battle because I mean, you may not think so, but I think Austin Kendall is he's probably got some skills.
Yeah.
he definitely has
So-
skills. I don't know.
So how about this, Terry? When you were watching the Heisman show, and they announced he won, and then they flashed his parents, and his parents were like, "Whatever."
His dad was just leaning back.
I'm like,
He didn't
"What's
give a crap
up?"
at all.
Dude, show some emotion. He's like, eh.
This is what I expected. Yeah, that's my boy.
I mean, can you imagine the trophy room he has at home?
Oh yeah.
It's like
No, but nothing is even close to that. I mean,
nothing's even close. But yeah, I mean,
Maybe-
if I was a dad of a Heisman Trophy, I'd probably passed out.
Well, he's also a professional athlete. Maybe he's just mad that his son's better than him and everything.
Yeah.
and mom was like, "Whatever."
Yeah, I mean, if Caleb wins the Heisman, I'm Billy Sims. Boomer,
Wearing that suit too.
Boomer.
Well, you seen Lincoln Riley and his wife. His wife's sitting there boo-hooing.
Yeah.
And Lincoln was like,
Almost
I'm
in
like,
tears.
Come on, man. Show us. It's okay. It's okay to show a little bit of emotion. Your son just won the biggest award for college athletes in the nation.
Yeah,
So,
I don't know.
And also, best thing about his speech, he named out all the offensive linemen, all the running backs,
And
all the receivers.
Where was it? He said there. Where does he take them on Wednesday night?
I'm not sure we take that. I don't remember he said that. I didn't see the thing at all.
His pocketbook, but it wasn't somewhere you'd think you'd take him to.
it's someplace down on campus.
Yeah,
Apparently he takes
Diamond
my team.
Dogs?
No, it was like was it the porch? Did he say it was the porch?
That's Brian Burlow's place. I get some free food there. That's probably why.
But no, it
He said
wasn't.
his pocketbook.
Yeah, it hits his wallet.
Well, you can't just tell people he's getting free food. Then, that's
No,
in
it hits
trouble.
his wallet every Wednesday night
Mm-hmm.
because we actually checked on that. Was like, if he's a professional athlete, can he buy his
Right.
offensive line dinner?
Did
He
we ever
go-
get resolution?
Yes, James Hill said yes,
Oh,
he can.
yeah.
And then so did Brandon Drum and a couple other people said, yeah, he's just a student.
So-
it's no different than him having a job at
Well, it's like-
Taco Bell.
It's like Baker driving Uber, and people pay money to seat. Like, here's extra $100 for this Uber drive right here.
Well, if they like the service.
Yeah, what I'm saying, you can't say you can't say any good job. Like, I can't help a booster wants to pay me $1,000 for a 5-minute
Hey,
ride.
we're running on compliance stuff here, guys. Let's be careful. Okay.
Well, let's talk about this. Alabama. Now, this is not the first time, but the whole family moved from Hawaii,
No, yeah.
and they all got jobs.
And then he has a younger brother who's really good too. That's getting recruited
I'm
by
just
Alabama.
saying, it's a little bit
yeah, how do
shady.
Sounds like Reggie Bush to me.
Yeah, it does.
I mean, yeah, and they said that they got an apartment sight unseen on the internet,
Yeah.
and
Sight unseen because they didn't even choose it.
yeah,
Is it a nice apartment?
I don't know.
Or that could be like a little plant apartment. Then they have a nice little mansion down the street. Something like that.
I doubt they still live in the apartment.
Oh, no.
Oh, I doubt it too. I mean,
was
I'm
just
sure
temporary.
get them
Booster
here.
hire him or something. Booster's like, we have opening right here. You can work for us.
Yeah.
Sure.
Maybe somebody needs to investigate that instead of investigate what Kyler
Well, Kyler's
did when he was 15 years old.
How
Oh,
awesome
nice.
would it be if they had to give back every national title since Saban's been there? I mean, would you feel bad at all?
No.
No. You answered that kind of quick. You want to think
Yeah.
about it a minute?
No. I mean, if somebody cheats that bad, they deserve to have it.
You ain't kidding.
I mean, that's why I cannot stand. I hate Pete Carroll because he bailed on
Bailed on
USC when he knew they were fixing.
Kind of respect the move right there.
He let him go down with the shit.
Yeah, it's
He
like
bailed.
I ain't gonna be here.
Well,
for
the problem
this.
with USC, they keep hiring on his like old people. It's like move on from him. Like, well, next year they'll move on with Urban Meyer probably. So
Probably.
Yeah, but personally, I think the best thing about the night. Let me find it here. The whole night was I sitting here.
I like the horns down kept throwing down. That
Yeah,
was
he
awesome. He
threw
threw the
that.
horns down like 5 times. The CBS interview, the very end of the horns down. When he was talking to was it Holly? He did the horns down next to the bull. He did the horns down a lot. I love that.
How many? What did you take the over or the under on? How many times Billy would say "boomer"?
How many times did he end up saying? Did anyone count?
I don't think anybody counted. I think everybody was hypnotized by his jacket.
It was awesome. It was awesome.
And
to say
here's
the
my
least.
question: How is there not a Billy Sims Heisman House commercial?
Right. Well, no, he's been in some.
I mean, they can have a whole commercial.
Oh yeah,
7 of them now.
Yeah, they got
The whole house for just might do that next year.
I think they
Just
should do what here's my idea. Okay, Heisman House. Here's my idea. Do like the Waltons, and they're going to bed, and you hear Billy go Boomer, and then you hear Kyler go Sooner, Boomer, and each of them ask it as the lights go out.
Jason and all of them. Yeah, Steve O, get them all in there.
I can imagine what we're probably going to do is like be Baker and Kyler together, and Kyler's be playing baseball with Tebow or something like that.
Yeah.
Do something like that.
I don't know, but I can't wait for them. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah,
And Baker's this year have been really good too.
By the way, I would so wear that jacket that Billy.
oh, I would too.
Absolutely.
they have some jackets like that
RJ
at
Walmart.
Walmart.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they've got some at Walmart.
Well, there you go. I'm sure they don't carry my size.
But no, one of the coolest things of the night was I can't pronounce his first name, Teofimo Lopez, who just knocked the snot out of whoever he was fighting. I was watching that fight,
Oh yeah, that was awesome.
and he sports the Kyler Murray jersey,
That was pretty
That
cool.
was
does the
awesome.
Heisman pose, does a backflip.
Like he killed the guy, dude. That
No,
guy was dead.
I was like, "Whoo, boy, you was clearly outclassed right
They
there."
had to carry him out of the ring as soon as he got out to come walk down the set, so they had to take him to the
Yeah, I
ambulance
think
right
it was
there.
a 33-second knockout.
Got popped.
Yeah, and when you fall face first, and your butt's in the air, and your body slides, like a cartoon, that it slides out like an inchworm, and blow.
I respect the ref for counting at least to 4 before he
Yeah,
called
he
it.
kind of. But when the guy was like,
Well, I guess he saw Tyson Fury last week. I guess we have to count everything now because everyone thought Tyson Fury was dead. So
Yeah.
you see that. So I guess he counted to 4, and he was all right.
I don't think there was any doubt though. He,
That was. It was
I
like
mean,
a slow
like
motion.
2,
He hit
he
him.
should've been like,
he
nah.
hit him. He just slowly fell down too. He was like, "Jeez." That
Yeah.
fight was fun. That boxing match was fun too. Like all those.
but it was
Like a
cool
fight
that
last night.
he sports the does that, and then the guy interviewing him, and he said his dad and his manager are huge Oklahoma fans and Kyler Murray fans, and that's why he did it. But that was pretty. I'm sitting here and I'm like, dude, he's got on a Kyler Murray.
Yeah, that was
yeah,
pretty
that
cool.
was awesome.
I could have swore that guy was from Oklahoma. I was like, oh, that guy's from Oklahoma. Because there is like a guy boxing right now, like it's supposed to be really good on the feed around from here. But I guess he's from New Jersey. But he said his dad and his trainer are huge fans. So
Yeah.
How'd you like that little piece on the kid from Purdue?
that was great.
Got me right in the feels.
Oh yeah, that was actually we were watching it. They showed that deal on the awards on
Award show,
Thursday
yeah.
night,
Right.
and you had left, and we were all sitting there still at Louis on Campus Corner, and the whole place got quiet because
Everyone
they
was
had it
watching
over, and everybody just stopped and sat there and watched it. I mean,
The worst part is he's like, you didn't think you deserved it. It's like, you deserve it, man. Like you're fighting this still. It's like, I don't think I deserve this. And even afterwards, he's like, you do deserve it. And he
I mean,
starts
he's sick.
breaking down. So I mean,
yeah.
No doubt about it. He's a sick guy. So
Well, and the cool thing is that he looked a lot better this past week there than he did at the
yeah.
at the Purdue game because
Oh, yeah.
the
He
Purdue
looked like a
he looked
skeleton
yeah
almost.
they
he,
didn't think he'll make it to the game. They said,
Yeah,
they're
they-
hoping he can make it to it.
so there are miracles still out there. Hopefully, there's one left out there for him if he can. But man, to find out that way, how he found out was throwing a frisbee and his arm broke when he threw a frisbee.
Wow.
What is that bone up there where your biceps at? God,
Femur.
I think that's
Femur's
your
a
leg.
leg.
Oh, tibula.
I think
That's your leg.
Ulna. I mean, I can do this all night. Well, actually, I can't. That's the last one I remember. I'm coming down right there.
You obviously played too much Operation when you were.
I got 3, and then I ran out. So,
I know their name different. I know that.
I mean, why they got to call them something? Why can't they just say the bone in your upper arm?
Yeah.
I mean, that makes sense to
for
everybody.
smart people that get paid, that's their job.
So
What are you trying
obviously,
to say?
Obviously, we never made it to medical school.
Yeah.
It was on the list. I just didn't quite get there.
Yeah, well, at least you didn't say liver, kidney. I mean, you did say bones.
Mr. Full 4 was here. I'm pretty sure you could tell us what all this stuff was.
Yeah. But no, it's crazy that back-to-back years. I mean, it's the first time that's happened too. Not that a school has won a Heisman back-to-back, but the guy who replaced the guy who won the Heisman.
Right. That has never happened. And it may not ever happen again.
Until
next year.
Archie Griffin, he won back-to-back.
Do you think he deserved it that year? Because wasn't that the year that Billy Sims should have won it?
Yeah.
And then Billy Sims.
I think that was one of the years that they said it's time for somebody to win back-to-back. You know what I mean? I don't think it was that. But you can't. I mean, Archie Griffin was a bad dude, man.
Yeah, and I didn't even see any video, but I've just heard Sooner fans who are obviously biased.
Yeah.
Say,
I still think the biggest robbery was A.J. Peterson's freshman year. Like, he should have won that year.
Absolutely.
But they weren't going to get the freshman.
Until Johnny Manziel gets the freshman.
They had to then because there's a freshman or a linebacker, and they're not going to no defense player, linebacker. Like, Susha won it too. Like, how Sue didn't win the Heisman that year? He was like 5th. Makes no sense to me. He won like 8 games for that team by himself.
Yeah, but it's hard to pronounce his first name.
It's hard to pronounce Tua's first name too, apparently.
Yeah.
According to the guys up there, mispronounced it twice.
His last name.
Whatever.
We can't pronounce his last name.
I mean, it's like Tua, 3 letters. That's the first thing you can have 3 letters and win.
Yeah, maybe that's it.
It's the next phase of break.
But no, it's just crazy that I mean, and really you think about it. Bob Stoops coming, he had 2 Heisman Trophy winners, and then Baker and Kyler, you can kind of call them his, but it's afterwards. But Lincoln Riley, head coach for 2 years, 2 Big 12 championship games, 2 Heisman Trophy winners, and 2 playoff berths.
Much better. I mean, see,
how do you start? How do you start any better than that? Other than
that's pretty much it.
No,
it's a national title. Really, that's it.
That's the only way.
It was kind of cool how you think Bob Stoops first, though. That was pretty cool.
Yeah,
I wasn't expecting that at all.
Yeah, Bob's the one that
brought him in here.
Yeah, that
they went recruit him too because they want him bad. I mean, he's the best player in the country coming out of high school, and we were his number 2 option. So I mean,
but no, my only concern is the Heisman curse.
Mm-hmm. And Bama's pissed. Like, their players are pissed.
I mean, and rightfully. I mean,
it's like we've been pissed too if Kyler lost.
Yeah, but it's just every year that Oklahoma, for some reason, every year they've won the Heisman, they've been in the championship race.
That's how you win it now.
In the 2000s. So hopefully Lincoln can get us past that Heisman curse of last year. And
it's going to be tough. Bama's a really good team. So.
They're really good. They got NFL talent all over the field.
Everywhere.
No doubt about it, especially where we're matching up badly.
Yeah.
And I think it's a bad matchup for us because the offense that they've got, I mean, they're just loaded with NFL talent.
Yeah.
And our defense, well, let's just be honest, it's been suspect.
So what do you think Bama's going to do? You think Bama's going to try to play our game and outscore us? Do you think they're going to try to control the clock and keep?
No, I think they'll try and do what Army did.
Yeah, try to control the clock.
I think they might try that, and then all of a sudden they throw a pass and guy runs 80 yards.
Yeah, I don't think they can do it because it's kind of like our offense. What are you going to tell a guy? We're needing to burn clock. If you get 20 yards down the field and you're going to score a touchdown, take a knee. You're
no, but something, they can run with us.
Yeah,
it's not a given that we're going to light that defense up.
Oh yeah, it is.
We may score on it, but I don't think we're going to put up 60.
I don't think they're. I think their secondary is better than the front 8 or the front 8. Because the front 8, they have probably the best player in their nose tackle or nose guard.
I'm telling you, just like Pollock said on Saturday again, and even Herbstreit was. He goes, Alabama's going to be. They're going to practice it and practice it and practice it, just like Georgia did, and Georgia said it afterwards. And, Pollock played at Georgia, and so he's talking. They were in shock that first half against it because it was just so fast and there were so many variations. And they said, then they came out the second half and had gotten used to it, made some adjustments. No, Lincoln took his foot off the gas in the third
He
quarter.
did.
I'm going to try. You don't try to conserve a lead when you got a defense
Changed
that's
momentum,
suspect.
changed everything.
And then, well, he changed the whole game with the swip kick. Swip kick heard around the world pretty much. I didn't see. I was getting beers. So I always say that. Next time don't let me get beers, that doesn't happen. Next time you guys go get beers. And that never happens. But still, it's gonna be like a big total game. I'm a little nervous we won't score as much on them. I mean, I think we're gonna score at least over 30. It's just, like I said, I don't think the front seven's that good. I think we're gonna pull Army. I think we might run the ball a lot, try to milk the clock because we have the type of offensive line to do that. And how about that'd be weird that OU's playing the ball, like make sure Alabama stays off the
We
field.
can't beat Alabama at Alabama's game. We got to come out there.
Well, but we're not gonna play their game. We're gonna play our spread out run power game that no one can stop, like against Georgia last year.
Well, for sure, we got to keep them honest.
Yeah.
Like we can't run. I mean, we got to run, take a shot, across the middle, whatever. I mean, we got to play the game that we've been playing all year long.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And if we get out of
We
that,
can
we're
do
going to
that
be in
too.
trouble.
Yeah.
I mean, hopefully more Kenny Brooks this game too. Hopefully, but he had how many carries did he have in the Big 12 championship? Like,
Yeah. How come we didn't see him much? I wonder.
Was he hurt and we didn't know about it?
Oh.
Hollywood looked okay. I saw a picture of him with a rapper, so he wasn't wearing boots. That's good.
You saw him with a rapper?
Boy, it's on Twitter. He posted a picture on Twitter.
No.
Maybe hopefully it's not an old picture. Hopefully,
Well,
about that tomorrow.
what we're going to do now is we got Jason Young from the Football Braniacs. We're going to talk some trench war with him. He's agreed, to come on, and we always love having him on. So we'll get his take on the Heisman Trophy and the Joe Moore Award and what's going to happen with Bama. All right, everybody, on the phone with us, the man, the myth, from the Football Braniacs, one of our favorite people. He does trench warfare on the Braniacs website, and we have Jason Young with us. Boomer Jason.
Boomer, guys, how you doing?
Oh, pretty good. Hey, first off, before we get rolling into stuff, we got a question for you. Okay.
Okay.
Apparently, you have a nickname, right? It's JY is what everybody calls you.
Yeah.
Okay. Are we in that group that we can call you JY?
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah.
Nicknames are earned, and you never
Sure.
just assume that you call somebody, by all their friends' nicknames until, you have permission. We're not cool enough to have
No,
nicknames, but
No. Well, you're Boomer Rob and Boomer Terry to me.
no, well, there you go.
I'll take it.
Yeah, we'll take it. That's probably the best thing we've been called this week, isn't it, Rob?
Well, I usually get a couple of things worse a week myself.
Oh, yeah.
We're in
Especially,
good company.
yeah, especially, if you were supposed to do something for the wife, the honeydew that you didn't get done. I don't really get called.
Oh, yeah.
I don't really get called names. I just get asked if I'm stupid, which,
Well,
you would think she'd know that
well,
answer after 30
How do
years.
you? Yeah. How do you answer that?
yeah, they failed to read their scouting report on that one.
Yeah. Do you think I would have changed after 30 years, honey?
Right.
But, well, let's jump into this. The big trophy is what I call it, the Joe Moore Award, which is the award to the outstanding offensive line unit, which I think is cool because it's not an individual award. It's really the only position award like this, isn't it?
I think so.
Yeah. But how does Oklahoma's offensive line not get this award this year?
Well, in years past, they've often given it to more of the blue-collar leagues like the SEC, and, Notre Dame should be in the Big Ten, but they won it last year, I think.
Yeah.
So I think it's Alabama and Georgia are up against the Sooners this year.
Right.
But to be honest with you, I don't know how they couldn't. I mean, the guys embody everything they're after. One of the key criteria for it, from what I understand, is how well they finish. And our guys are, borderline, brutal every time.
And
I mean,
they blocked for back-to-back
they made that-
Heismans now. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, they made that one long-haired dude,
Yeah.
delete his Twitter.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, that do you think that was intentional that what's his name, Hager,
that was
kept
a come
running
to
his
Jesus
mouth,
meeting.
and they just went, okay, this play it's your turn, this next play, Cody, it's yours. Creed, you go smash him. Because when they put him down, they just didn't put him down. They like WWE.
They rolled him around a little bit,
rolled on him.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, they probably had pictures of him taped to their locker all week. I mean, you don't poke the bear. I mean, that's what everybody talks. We had some friends over tonight, and one of my buddies was talking about how the little guys are skill guys, and I'm like, well, what's easier, throwing a ball or throwing people? Throwing
people
and
as big or bigger than
right.
you.
Right, and that's what people forget. I mean, these guys are skilled too, and they were already good to begin with. So hey, it's kind of like a crocodile hunter. Let's go piss it off and see if it kills us.
Well, it's Bobby Evans, Ben Powers, Creed Humphrey, Drew Samia, Cody Ford, and we're going to throw Jonathan Alvarez in there. He had 2 games that he started at center and 1 at left guard.
Right.
And he deserves the recognition because,
so.
Really he pushed Creed, Humphrey the first part of the season and during camp,
Mm-hmm.
It was that battle between those 2 guys. But
right.
who is the most impressive out of that group to you?
Right. I mean, there's 3 of them that really stand out to me. I mean, you got to look at Cody Ford. I think is a guy that came out from playing guard all of his career at Oklahoma, and now he kicks out to right tackle, and they don't miss a beat. And
right.
He's looking really well there, very dominant. And then equally impressive, you got a guy like Creed Humphrey that comes in as a redshirt freshman, and once he got his snap issues under control, they're talking about him being the best offensive lineman possibly to play at Oklahoma, which
right.
is extremely high praise.
Right.
And then, I've always been a favorite of mine is Ben Powers. Just small town Kansas kid, didn't have any offers. Goes to, I think it was Butler or Hutchinson County, one or the other. And I think it was Butler. And ends up, being all Big 12. But then Drew Samia wins stinking, Big 12 offensive lineman of the year.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they're all impressive. I think from a relationship standpoint, I have to say I'm really proud of Cody Ford just because I got to follow Cody quite a bit when he was still in high school and watch him grow up and develop. I mean, the guy's always been a mammoth, but, his got to text with his dad a little bit over the years. I've never got to meet him, but they're just great people and just really good and happy to see Cody doing so well.
Yeah. Well, one of the things we talked about when, Creed was having the problems with the snap and it was some of it, I think it was at the coaches show that.
Was that left spin, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was that left spin. I mean, and Lincoln said at his coaches show, he goes, it's not so much, he's doing anything wrong. It's, it was Kyler handling it and stuff. And I got to thinking back when I remember when they had Steve Young and the wide receiver just went blank for the 49ers. Jerry Rice on, and they asked him who was harder to catch a pass from, Steve Young or Joe Montana. And he kind of sat there kind of funny, and he goes, well, Steve Young. And they said, why? And he goes, well, the ball spins backwards. He's left-handed.
Right.
The ball spins backwards, so you got to adjust your hands and catch it differently than you do from a right hand. Now, I'd have never even thought about that. But when Lincoln was talking about it, that it was, partially Creed, but partially also Kyler handling it, for some reason that snapped in my head was, well, it's because the ball's spinning different. He's probably never had a left-handed kid, good Lord, a left-handed mountain, snapping it back to him. And just the rotation of the ball is different. You wouldn't think that would be a big deal, but apparently it is. I mean, what you got any thoughts on that or what the problem was?
Well, I think too, I mean, it's such a muscle memory thing. And when you get somebody, that's young and inexperienced like Creed was, I'm sure there's some nerves that go into it. And, kids from Shawnee, and I mean, it's a big deal going for 30, 45 minutes down the road. And, I mean, it's closest to be one of the tallest buildings in Oklahoma, we're legends that play in Oklahoma, and, you come in and there's no way that you can't be hyped for that. And then he comes in and, to me, it's more nerves than anything, I would think. I think Coach Riley's probably running a little interference for him, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
But, which is great. I mean, you don't hear coaches do that. At least you didn't when I played. They just kick your ass and tell you to get snapped. So,
Yeah, we remember those days.
Yeah.
But I never was as good a player as Creed, so
Yeah.
they talk to him nice. So
No, but when you look at all the stats out there, with this offense, I mean, the one that jumps out to me is that we lead the nation with 11.6 yards per pass attempt, and we're second in rushing yards at 6.7. No FBS team since '94 has finished in the top two nationally in those categories. And the Sooners have had 40 rushing touchdowns and 40 passing TDs. 41.
And sometimes he's just got all day to throw back.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the Texas game, he could have sat down and crocheted a blanket a couple of times. I mean, it's just dumbfounding to me how, I mean, I know they got it. There's the hype and everything that goes around with it. But these guys, and, we're biased, but there's just no way with an offense that's producing this way. They do it. We all know Kyler's amazing and the receivers and the running backs, but without those guys, those 5 guys up front, there ain't none of this happening. Right. They're going to be good, but they're not going to be amazing like this.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, that's the best offensive lines are the ones that you don't notice.
Right.
Because historically, the only time you get any publicity is it's negative publicity. You got a holding penalty, you gave up a sack, you missed a block down on the goal line, something like that. But, whenever you can have an offensive line that's so inconspicuous that they want, people just to continue to talk about the Trey Sermons and the Kennedy Brooks and your quarterback 2 years in a row wins the Heisman.
Right.
It's that's a good spot to be in. I mean, Beatonbow, people really don't appreciate what a complete coach he is because there's so many aspects that come into it. You've got, number one, you got to know what kind of offensive line you want to build. And number two, you got to be able to get those guys, be able to be a recruiter. And then 3, when you get them on campus, you got to be able to develop them. And he's great at all 3.
Right. Well, what Oklahoma needs to do with Beatonbow is get start screening all of his calls, even to his cell phone. And put a armed guard on him at all times, because we don't want to lose that guy at all. And I know they gave
I'm nervous about that.
And they gave him the title as co-offensive coordinator and offensive line coach. And with all the talk of Lincoln, possibly going to the pros, which I don't believe, but the University of Oklahoma is going to have to get out their pocketbook for him this year and for the staff again. And, especially like Beatonbow. I mean, they're going to have to pay him enough money that makes him comfortable for the next couple of years to go, hey, don't talk to anybody, don't talk to anybody about a job. Come to us first and let's see what we can do.
Right.
But, and which I think the university is going to do. They're going to, the Texas coach, Herman, to be making more than Lincoln Riley is ridiculous.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
And he's getting, he's already been talked about for, it was the Cleveland Browns and now the Green Bay Packers and the Dallas Cowboys. I don't think Lincoln's interested, but whether he's interested or not, the university has to start building a dam to stop that from happening.
Yeah.
Sure.
But
you got to think about it too. What happens if, I hate to say it, but what happens if they shock the world and, beat Alabama and then go on to maybe beat Notre Dame or Clemson in the national championship game? What happens then? If they lock these coaches up and get a good defensive coordinator in here, we could have a Sooner renaissance, because he recruits like Barry Switzer, and the guy's brilliant. So
yeah. Well, and I think they have that ability. And, you look at one of the most impressive things that Lincoln did this past week to me was, they win the Big 12 championship game. You know, the next day, all these coaches and teams are sitting around waiting on the playoff to come out, and you've got, you got Saban, and you got Sweeney, and Notre Dame's coach
Chip Kelly.
Not Chip Kelly.
Brian Kelly.
Brian Kelly.
Oh, yeah. I always get those confused.
They're sitting in their facilities, either, Sweeney's having the pizza party and everything else, and Lincoln Riley is on a plane, getting ready to take off, and all day Sunday he's spending out on the recruiting trail. You see all these players that day tweeting, hey, thanks Coach Riley for coming by, and he's not celebrating. He's working. He's working on next year's championship. You know what I mean? And I think that's what his love of this game is personally. Just everything. I don't know the guy personally, but I've seen him at his coach's show we go to every week, and you hear him talk, and I think he genuinely loves working and going out and recruiting these kids. And sometimes, not that he doesn't deserve $5 million a year. Sometimes, that's enough. You know what I mean? If you've got the dream job, you're coaching one of the most legendary teams in football. Period.
Absolutely. With more coming.
Yeah. But
I think I could scrape by on $5 million.
Oh yeah, but we talked about it before. I mean, okay, you're making $5 million. Well, Jerry's World, Jerry Jones offers him $10 million. I'm like, I know that sounds like a big jump, but really, what can you do with $10 million that you really can't do with $5 million? You know what I mean? I know it's hard.
Well, when you think about it, the media scrutiny. The
yeah.
lights have got to be pretty intense at Oklahoma, but I think they're quite a bit brighter down in Jerry World.
Well, yeah,
And
we did.
I don't think Castiglione is quite the GM as what the Crypt Keeper is. So, I don't know. For me, you gotta think about the fact that Lincoln Riley gets to pick his own players, and you do in the NFL too. But you can pretty much go on a run of having, as long as you're winning and being successful, you can get whoever you want.
Yeah, but
so
it's 1,000 times different. Coaching 50 some odd millionaires than it is coaching 50 some odd high school kids that you're giving paying for their school.
College kids, yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
Dealing with the Le'Veon Bell types, and that's
sure.
The guy lost $14 million this year because he didn't get the franchise tag. I'm like, how could you deal with somebody like that they have so much money they don't care? You're going to give me this,
right?
Or I'm not going to play. No. That's ridiculous. I wish I could do that to my boss.
Right.
Jay, why did you think Kyler was going to win the whole time?
I had a feeling he was. I just, I made a bet with a buddy at work because he's a big Ohio State kid, and I made a bet with him that Kyler was going to win it, and, so I get to collect on that this week. But,
all right,
right.
Rub it in while you're at it.
I just had a feeling, and I've got a feeling too. Sooners beat Alabama.
Nice.
I just do. I think that the thing that I'm not going to go out on Twitter, but hell, this will get out too. But not that anybody really gives a shit what I got to say. But, it's not locker room material or bulletin board material. But you got a guy that just won the Heisman. You got a group of guys that may end up winning the award for the best offensive line in the country, and you got a lot of people that really know what they're talking about that award that thing. It's not an award like the Heisman's, guys like, Colin Cowherd and all those people that get votes on that. So, but still it's important. I was excited, but the Joe Moore thing's a bunch of film rats that watch it, so they know what they're doing. And, just like this Hager guy, for the next 3 weeks, the Sooners get to hear about how bad they suck.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And Oh,
Yeah.
we're going to, Alabama's just going to roll their helmets out on the field. They're going to score 80 points. And, Oklahoma might score 50, but Alabama's going to score 75. And just keep talking, y'all assholes.
Yeah.
I'm just, I get fired up. I'm a 42-year-old man. So,
Yeah.
I can only imagine what these guys are thinking, in the locker room, because, they're probably thinking, hey, we can play a little bit too. And then you go back and watch that Texas game defensively. I think outside of a few plays, they matched up well and they were where they were supposed to be. I mean, they didn't play great the whole game, but they shut Texas down when they needed to.
Right. Which became the story of our defense the last, well, it was kind of a little bit, but the West Virginia game, the Texas game, when they needed to do something, they did. You know what I mean? It was,
Right.
you got the 2 scooping scores, and then you got the safety, and
Right.
nobody was expecting a safety, primarily because I don't know the last time we did a corner blitz. Does anybody know the last sack we got, off of a blitz like that? And even Eleanor said, while he was, and they asked him after the game, did you not see that coming? And he was like, no. He goes, they've always lined up like that, but they've never, it was something to the effect of they've never really brought the blitz like that. And
Right.
me and Rob, we were watching, we about fell out of our chairs. It was like, well, there you go. I mean,
I lost my mind when it happened too. I understand. I mean, you're sitting there as a Sooner fan watching it. You're up by 3, and you're seeing them come off the goal line, and you're thinking to yourself, okay, what happens if they score? And
yeah,
the Sooners, got to get it back. And then, Kenneth Mann gets that, tackle for loss and play before that to kind of set it up to where they're on the 5 or the 4. I can't remember which one it was, but, he comes from the short side of the field. You watch that play over and over. Trey Brown kind of redirected. He's so fast you don't notice it unless you're really looking for it. But, he went with that play action fake just a little bit.
yeah,
But he recognized so quick that Ellinger kept that ball. And I'm sitting here on my couch like, that's a safety. That's a safety. And that's all I could say.
Yeah.
I mean, I was just yelling. That's all I could say. It was amazing.
yeah, and
the speed that he came in there with, I don't know why we don't do that all the time.
that's my point. It was that even the Texas quarterback said that he didn't see it because they've never really done it. You know what I mean? They've lined up like that, but it was like Oklahoma finally just took a chance, and sent a blitz, off the corner like that. And when an opposing quarterback says, it did because, they've lined up like that and just never really brought a blitz, it caught me off guard, so here he is saying, well, they're not a blitzing team. And I'm like, oh my God, that's, but I'm with you with the Alabama. I just got this sneaking suspicion. And I said, for the next 3 weeks, that's all Oklahoma's going to hear is, Oklahoma's going to score, but, Alabama, they're primarily what, fans are going to retweet out is Feinbaum, and, saying that Oklahoma's going to get beat by 40. And Steve Smith
Right.
that said the same thing, that they're going to get blown out. They're not even in the same league. And,
Sure.
I can't tell you how bad it's going to be if we do get blown out. I mean,
No.
they're just, just
Oh, man.
legitimizes
I mean,
everything.
It would, man, that made me so happy if we just rolled them.
Yeah, and because there is not, and I'm going to stand on this. There is not a defense out there. Alabama, Georgia, and even Georgia last year proved it. They can't stop. This offense is better than it was last year, and there's nobody can stop. The Army's the only one who stopped this offense, and that's because they held the ball for over 3 quarters. That's the way you beat Oklahoma, is to keep them on the sidelines. And everybody, Oklahoma's going to score with everybody. And what we've got to have is that defense just to come up with 1 or 2 plays like they have the last couple of weeks to stop.
Right.
Or it may be a deal where it comes down to whoever has the ball last. Oklahoma or Alabama is going to win this game. But
Sure.
which I don't believe my heart can handle if that's the type of game it's going to be.
Well, if the
I think it's going to be a close game, but I think that the biggest matchup is going to be the offensive line against the defensive line of Alabama. You got a guy Quinnen Williams, that nose tackle that just won the Outland Trophy. He's about 6'4", 285. He's a great player.
Yeah.
And Isaiah Bugs, JUCO guy that they got. And you got Raekwon Davis. It's pretty amazing. I mean, I think what Alabama's going to do is they're going to try to control the front with those 3 or 4 guys, drop additional people into coverage.
Yeah.
And, the story of the game is going to be, can Oklahoma force them to bring more guys up into the box? And if they can force them to bring more guys up into the box and try to stop the run, then, you may have some big plays get hit over the top.
Yeah.
Because the thing about that Texas game is nobody's really talking about is Hollywood dropped like 2 touchdowns.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And normally it doesn't happen, but, that game should have been, 50-something to 30.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, there was the little bit of the drops, and I think CD even dropped a couple passes in that game too. So,
yeah. Mm-hmm.
But
well, hopefully we just play a perfect game. I mean, no drops, no missed assignments, no penalties. All that happens, I think we got a real shot of beating them.
Yeah, but
you got to think we're due too. I mean, you go and you lose to Clemson, in the playoffs, and then you lose to USC, and you lose to LSU.
Yeah.
It's our turn, damn it.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been waiting too long.
Yeah. Well, and that brings me to my point that Rob hates to talk about. But do you believe in jinxes and things like that?
More specifically, the Heisman curse.
The Heisman curse. What I call the Heisman curse.
No.
Okay. Because
I am superstitious a little bit, but I don't believe in that.
Okay, because that when Jason White won the Heisman Trophy, we lost in the BCS title game to LSU. When Sam Bradford won the Heisman Trophy, we lost in the BCS title game to Florida. And then last year when Baker Mayfield won it, we lost in the college football semifinals to Georgia. So every time we won a Heisman Trophy, we've been in a championship race and lost it. See, that bothers me. So, it's like you win, when we win the Heisman, we lose the championship. When we lost the Heisman with Josh Heupel,
right,
we won the championship.
Yep.
You see what I'm saying? I get that you don't believe it, but I'm like, oh, God. It's kind of like what do they say? What do they call it? The Sports Illustrated jinx?
It's the Madden jinx.
Yeah, the Madden jinx. When you're on the Madden cover, you either get hurt or things fall apart.
Right.
So you're not going to buy into that. You're superstitious, but not that superstitious.
Right.
Okay.
Well, I mean, like for me, my superstition goes with, I had formula and I did everything the same way every time.
Yeah.
And, I sat on the same bench. I would put on my shoes the same way. I was just OCD with little things.
Right.
My college roommate, he was a quarterback. And, I was one of these quiet guys. I'd put a towel over my face and take a nap before the game or something like that. I didn't want to hear anything.
Yeah.
And he's jumping around, dancing and being loud and all that. I want to kill him. And, but I think half of that was him knowing that and trying to get me ready to play more than anything. But,
so
I don't know. I think too that, going back to the defense, how they played against Texas, you watch a few of those plays, and they were where they were supposed to be.
Yeah.
And they matched up, and the times that they got pressure, it wasn't because of an all-out blitz. I mean, yeah, you had the safety, but Ronnie Perkins got a sack. You had Monty Bledsoe got a sack. And really what they were forcing the quarterback to hold the ball because they weren't letting these guys run free. And the player that nobody's really talking about that had one hell of a game in that game is Caleb Kelly.
Yeah.
I think with him coming back into the picture a little bit has kind of caused a little bit of a revival for this defense playing that Sam.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh, and probably some leadership out there as well. I mean, he's been there, done it. I don't know what happened that caused him to not start and to go into the red shirt talk and all that. I saw a quote where he said, hey, you just got beat out. But
yeah, but I don't know what the hell they're thinking. I mean, you got a guy that can play. You look back at that Auburn game when he was a freshman.
Yeah.
And he was the best defensive player that I felt like the Sooners had outside of Jordan Evans that year. And you come back and, he was a good player last year, but not the type of player that I'd hoped he would be. But what they did in that Auburn game is they blitzed him a lot. They put him out in space, and they let him do a lot of things. This year they were trying to make him be a will. And, sometimes you get enamored and you see the raw materials and you think, hey, man, I'm going to make this square peg fit in a round hole and just let a kid be who he is.
Yeah.
This is what he knows how to do. This is what he does well. Let him do that.
Yeah. Well, one last thing. Let's end it on the defense, okay, real quick. Defensive coordinator. Is Ruffin McNeil going to be the defensive coordinator, or do they got their hands in a pot somewhere else that they're looking for?
I don't think he's going to be. I think, and this is just me. I don't have any sources or anything. Right. I don't think Ruffin's going to be the defensive coordinator. I think he might. I don't know if he wants to stay on, kind of like Merv did for years, or because he is one of the most trusted voices that Lincoln has. Right. But yeah, I don't think he will be.
I mean, I don't know if it's the guy from Alabama that I guess there was a lot of talk with Ole Miss grabbing him, and then that didn't happen.
Right, because they named a new defensive coordinator today.
Right. Yeah, it wasn't him. But, I mean, I just think that Lincoln being as dynamic as what he is, as a head football coach and obviously an offensive coach, is that he's looking for somebody, almost as dynamic on that side of the ball. You know what I mean?
I would agree with that.
That he's going to find somebody
young, a lot of energy,
sure.
Somebody that can develop these players on the defensive side like he is on the offensive side, because our offensive players are developing faster than anything I've ever seen. You've got CeeDee Lamb, who was a freshman last year. For crying out loud, we got our running back right now was number 5 on the depth chart at the beginning of the season.
Number 5.
And he's running like he was the number 1 all year long. That's what they got to find on the defensive side of the ball, is somebody who can bring that talent in, bring in the Bookies and
Bookie's on the bench.
Yeah, Bookie's been on the bench, but I mean, develop them that fast. I mean, they have the skill, they have the skill set. They have all of it, but for some reason that defensive side of the ball hasn't been able to develop them as fast as what the offensive side is, and that's why our defense is just running behind. I mean, and I know you are too. Every Sooner fan is tired of hearing every time Herb Street or Pollock or any of those guys start talking about Oklahoma, as much praise as they give Kyler and Lincoln for the offense, they just fall right back on, but man, their defense, and you can't argue with them. And it's just, I don't know if it's, Golding is his name from Alabama, the co-defensive coordinator, if it's him or if there's somebody else out there, but I just got a sneaking suspicion that Lincoln has somebody in mind or somebody already lined up, and I think it's going to happen just like how Lincoln was hired. He's focused on winning this championship. He's focused on beating Alabama, and if you go changing and announcing your new coordinator, that throws everything out of whack.
Yeah.
So he's got.
Well, it takes the focus off of everything that you're trying to accomplish.
Right. And, when Bob hired him, it was after the season. I mean, quickly, I think it was the January 24th. They fired, they fired Josh like a week or so after the season. Then 2 weeks later, Lincoln's announced. And I just think that, whenever the season ends, preferably after the national title game, that he's going to go it's going to be okay. Ruffin is back to what he was doing, and here's our new defensive coordinator X. And I think it may surprise people that it's somebody that nobody's thinking about, but when you look at his resume, it's going to be, oh, okay, because that's kind of how Lincoln was. He was at East Carolina when that's the first thing I heard. Was like, what?
Right.
But when you looked at his resume, what he did there, and then he was able to transfer it to Oklahoma. But, so I personally, I don't think that Ruffin is the guy either. So, seems like a nice guy, seems funny, but, maybe it's that we got used to the Stoops brothers, when they kept showing him in the press box during the Texas game. It looked like a couple of times he was dozing off. So, he's just kind of leaned back. Hey, we just got a safety, and he had literally no reaction to it. So, I didn't get that.
Yeah.
But, well, man, that's what I wanted to check with you on, just see if you thought that was, going to be the case too. And you know how big, the Joe Moore Award is, don't you?
Oh yeah, it's like 6 or 7 feet tall or something.
Yeah.
I mean, it's massive.
Yeah.
We're going to go down and take pictures with it.
There you go. There you go. Well, you guys can line up as tight ends.
Yeah.
You can be tight ends on both sides.
Yeah. But, hey, JY, we appreciate it. Once again, it's always a joy to have you on and talk about the important aspects of the game, and that's the offensive and defensive lines. And, everybody needs to make sure and check out your trench warfare on the Braniacs, too. Are you going to have something new coming out before the bowl game?
Yeah, I'm really trying to figure. I'm technologically challenged, so I'm trying to figure out how to. Because I had a lot of guys hit me up on the Braniacs and said, man, I wish I could just sit there and watch film with you and have you explain things. So I'm trying to figure out how to film watching film, and just doing voiceovers and things like that and explaining it, because there's only so much you can do with a still shot, like what I've been doing for the last how many ever years. And I'll be honest with you, man, it takes a lot of time to take those pictures and draw them, put them and post them and then write and all that kind of thing. I think it would be so much easier for everybody if I figured out the technology part of it, to just flip on the TV and rewind it and say, hey, look for this. You see this right here. And, just explain it that way, because that's how you learn.
Right.
But,
well, I mean,
I got to figure that out.
Believe me, we're not overly tech savvy, because I actually had Tattoo Baker in here today. We bought a new video camera, and we can't figure out how to get the sound to work on our computer so we can do videos.
Right.
Because people have asked us to do YouTube videos. Still can't figure it out. But
I can barely do the Google. So.
Yeah, it takes Rob like 15 minutes to Google Oklahoma Sooners. But
right.
You might try. I know I use it at work. I have a Surface Pro, and you can get a pin. And, I don't know how it works, but I know you can, because I've seen people at my job at meetings and stuff, they use the Surface Pro when they, maybe if you hook it up to something that you can draw, do like the Madden, draw here, have the thing on there, but you might check into a Surface Pro. But if anybody out there, how about this? If anybody out there is tech savvy, just to DM you. Maybe they can.
That'd be great.
They could help you out.
Hook me up.
But yeah, that would be cool if you're just sitting, in the film room, with JY, and you just sit there going.
Oh, it sounds like a perfect piece.
Yeah. So.
Because I tell you, I keep going back to how good the defense looked, but outside of a couple big plays, that Ellinger made some really good throws. I mean, you didn't have the open receivers running up and down the field like we saw all year long.
Oh,
you just didn't have that.
Yeah, we didn't make Ellinger look like, a Pro Bowl quarterback like we did.
Although he played a pretty decent game, I thought.
Yeah, he played all right.
He did. He's a good player.
Yeah,
I mean, he is a really good player. He doesn't get a lot of credit, but he is.
Yeah. Well, it's Texas.
Well, he is Longhorn too.
There's
judgment can't be that great.
But hey, man, we appreciate the time once again, and we hope to do it again soon. All right, man.
Absolutely, guys. Have a good Christmas. I'll talk to you.
All right, Boomer JY.
All right, Boomer, guys.
Thanks for listening to the Sooner Football Fans Podcast. Hit the subscribe button right now on whatever app you're listening to download every episode as they come out. Check us out on Twitter and Facebook and on YouTube. Boomer Sooner.